All right, joining me now, Stacey Washington. She's the host of Stacey on the Right on Sirius XM Satellite Radio. And John Thomas, he's a Republican political strategist at Nestpoint. So, Trump is threatening, he's mentioned potentially invoking the Insurrection Act if Governor Walz and Mayor Frey don't take control of that city. I mean, you just look at that, Stacey, and it is just one little incident away from becoming a major catastrophe. Do you think that the Trump administration, that the president should invoke the Insurrection Act?
I do. And the reason is because the rhetoric coming from the left is to encourage more people to take the same action that Renee Good took that cost her life. She actually went out and sought out a confrontation with ICE. She wanted to engage them in a violent way. She wanted to disobey their lawful orders. She was seeking to get some viral video, and she's been trained as an activist from her children's charter school. And many, many other Minnesotans have been trained in the same way. They've been radicalized, and they've been told that ICE isn't a legitimate law enforcement operation. That's not true, but it really doesn't matter what's true if a person has been brainwashed and will take actions that could endanger themselves or the lives of others, not to mention the mayhem that the ICE agents themselves are going through, and it impedes their ability to actually carry out their mission of mass deportation. So I'd love to see President Trump bring this situation to heel, because he has to go into these Democrat cities with this extra enforcement because they're sanctuary cities. All they have to do if they want to end this is eliminate the sanctuary city designation. That's all they have to do.
Well, they've been completely breaking or ignoring the law the entire time and literally getting away with it and then creating this hostile situation here. Speaking of hostile, so Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, she had a hearing in St. Paul. It was titled Kidnapped and Disappeared, Trump's Deadly Assault on Minnesota. Okay. So they're all listening to this, as you were saying, and they're buying it, right? They're buying in on it. Listen to some of the stuff from last night.
This is not routine enforcement. This is not about public safety. This is not even about immigration. This is about political retribution.
Flooding our streets with thousands of federal immigration agents is not about public safety. It's not about fraud. It's not even about immigration enforcement.
This is not about immigration. This is about sowing chaos on the streets of Minneapolis. This is about political retribution.
Okay, so there you have it, John. I mean, it's not even different points of view. You have one side, the left here, that they're beating the drums for something worse to happen. They are basically standing in front of the federal government from doing its specific job. But I mean, let's just take this down the road a little bit. I mean, what's next? When you have hearings like that with the so-called leaders, basically telling everybody it's an occupation, thousands in the streets, from the federal ICE officers, which is completely untrue anyway. But what's your reaction to that, and where do you think this goes next?
Well, Rob, I was looking at the live report that you just had on, and it was the tension was palpable. It felt like a powder keg, and it's gotten to that point because the elected officials on the left have inspired these people to get violent and push back. And then you see maybe, just maybe, Rob, you could excuse the slip of the tongue on an initial press conference. Perhaps the left electeds didn't know what they were saying. But then when they do it again and again and have hearings to purposely distort what ICE is doing and to incite likely violence, there's no excuse. These elected officials know what they're doing, and unfortunately, there's probably only one way this ends. And then the ICE agents get attacked for doing their job when they're protecting themselves from deranged protesters who were inspired by the leftist politicians. It's this vicious cycle, and it's got to end.
Yeah, it's going to end badly, though, at some point, and more innocent people are going to get caught up in this. But when you have the mayor of Minneapolis talking like this, and we're going to play a clip of him in just a second, it's going to end worse than it's been because of how he's talking. Just listen to helping. He wants people to help in the fight against federal agents. Listen to him.
And we're in a position right now where we have residents that are asking the very limited number of police officers that we have to fight ICE agents on the street, to stand by their neighbors.
Now, Stacey, I don't know if you caught, though, but did you see the police chief there, who, by the way, has been completely and utterly useless, but did you see him, like, kind of look up, like, whoa, whoa, whoa? I mean, the mayor is now basically telling people to have physical altercations with federal agents. That's the way I read it.
Yeah, and you're correct. And the reason why the law enforcement officer in him kind of, he had an immediate reaction is because his training kicked in that moment, and he realized that we're talking about having Americans stand up to their own duly enacted law enforcement that they pay for. See, here's the thing. A law enforcement agent, officer, what have you, whether they're federal or local, they are duly authorized by us. We pay them. We fund their salaries. We fund their training. They work for us. So we're going to go out in the street and fight them. Why would we do that in America when we could use all of our other legal processes to adjudicate or draw attention to behavior that is not correct? And the reason why the left wants their jackbooted thugs fighting ICE, they want suburban moms fighting ICE, is because they don't have a legitimate cause of action against this organization. President Trump hasn't passed any new legislation. This is all duly authorized law that's on the books that he is using to execute on a mass deportation agenda that he ran on and was elected, sweeping all of the swing states and the popular vote. So Americans voted for this. We want this. And we don't want people like this irresponsible mayor encouraging people to endanger their own lives and causing themselves to be in harm's way, like the guy who was blinded by a rubber bullet. He was actually mixing it up with ICE agents, trying to fight them when he placed himself in front of a live round, and now he's lost his eye. And he has a fractured skull. And for what? He didn't stop any deportation. So this is the wrong suggestion on behalf of Democrats. And the president has to use the Insurrection Act to quell the violence. But it's up to Democrats and their constituents to tone down the rhetoric and to come back to the side of law and order, which is the only American thing to do.
That guy lost his eye protecting murderers and rapists. I hope he understands that. Stacey Washington and John Thomas, thanks for being with us. Meantime, crime